You're over 50 and feel bombarded by an endless list of don'ts. Don't eat this, don't do that, don't lift weights, watch out for impact. It feels like, upon reaching this stage of life, health becomes a series of prohibitions and limitations. Many of these rules, which we've repeated for decades, were created with the best intentions, but based on science that has since evolved. Today, we know so much more about the human body and the aging process. The truth is, some of the most famous health rules for people over 50 aren't just outdated. They might actually be sabotaging your well-being and longevity. In this video, we're going to dive deep into current science to uncover the 5 health rules for over 50s you should actually break. And it's not about rebellion. It's about intelligence. It's about replacing fear with information and restriction with strategy. If you've ever felt confused by so many conflicting health rules, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because today, we're going to use science to free you from myths that no longer serve you. Let's start with one of the most common recommendations, the one that echoes in gyms and doctors' offices. To protect your joints, avoid high-impact exercises. This idea seems to make sense. After all, we want to preserve our cartilage. But what if I told you that by avoiding impact, you might be weakening the most fundamental structure of your body, your bones? The fear of fractures is a real and justified concern, especially as we age. Osteoporosis, a condition that makes bones fragile and porous, affects millions, particularly women, after menopause. The logic of avoiding impact to prevent falls and fractures seems, at first glance, unquestionable. However, science shows us a more complex and fascinating reality. Studies published in reputable journals, like the Journal of Bone and Mineral Research, have consistently demonstrated that weight-bearing and impact exercises, when done correctly, are one of the most powerful tools for increasing bone mineral density. The mechanism behind this is known as Wolff's Law, a principle of physiology that states bone adapts to the loads it's subjected to. When you walk briskly, run, jump, or dance, the mechanical impact sends a signal to bone-forming cells, osteoblasts, to get to work. They deposit more minerals into the bone matrix, making it stronger and more resistant. By completely avoiding impact, we deprive our bones of this vital stimulus, which can paradoxically accelerate bone loss and increase the risk of that very fracture we fear. It's like expecting a muscle to grow without ever lifting a weight. Bone is a living, dynamic tissue that responds to stress. The question, therefore, isn't whether or not we should have impact, but rather how we can apply that stress intelligently and safely to reap the benefits without overloading our joints. The concern for joints is valid, and this is where nuance becomes crucial. Scientific evidence doesn't suggest that a 60-year-old with knee osteoarthritis should go out and run a marathon tomorrow. What it supports is the idea of progressive and controlled impact. The weight of the evidence is clear. Inactivity is far more detrimental to joints in the long run than controlled movement. Articular cartilage, which has no blood supply of its own, depends on movement and a certain amount of compression to receive nutrients. How to implement this safely? The secret is to start slowly and listen to your body. If you're sedentary, begin with brisk walks, which already provide a beneficial, light impact. Over time, you can introduce short bursts of light jogging. Activities like dancing, gentle jump roping, or even jumping jacks are excellent for stimulating bones. Wearing appropriate footwear and exercising on softer surfaces, such as grass or good quality treadmills, can help mitigate excessive stress on joints. The most important thing is gradual progression. Start with a few minutes and increase the intensity and duration over weeks or months. And, of course, this reinforces the golden rule. It's absolutely essential to talk to your doctor or a physical therapist before starting any new exercise program, especially if you already have joint pain or a diagnosis of osteoporosis. They can help create a plan that is safe and effective for you. Just as we're rethinking movement, we urgently need to reevaluate what we put on our plates, especially when it comes to a nutrient that has been demonized for decades: fat. The second rule we need to break is the dogma that a low-fat diet is the path to a healthy heart after 50. This idea has dominated nutritional guidelines since the 1980s, leading to an explosion of light, diet, and fat-free products on supermarket shelves. The health problem this rule tried to solve is real. Cardiovascular diseases remain one of the leading causes of death worldwide. The logic was simple. If fat clogs arteries, then eating less fat should protect the heart. But this oversimplification led us down a dangerous path. When the food industry removed fat from products, they replaced it with something to maintain flavor and texture: sugar and refined carbohydrates. The result was an epidemic of obesity and type 2 diabetes, conditions that are enormous risk factors for heart disease. Modern science, through large-scale studies like the famous pre-dimed study Prevención con Dieta Mediterránea, has turned this notion on its head. This study showed that participants who consumed a Mediterranean diet rich in healthy fats from extra virgin olive oil and nuts had a significant reduction in serious cardiovascular events, such as heart attacks and strokes, compared to those on a low-fat diet. The secret isn't the total amount of fat, but rather the type of fat. Our bodies need healthy fats, monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, for vital functions, such as absorbing fat-soluble vitamins, APDEK, producing essential hormones, which decline with age, and controlling inflammation. Understanding that not all fats are created equal is liberating. The practical implementation of this new perspective is simpler than it seems. It's not about eating fried and processed foods, which often contain trans fats and inflammatory vegetable oils. It's about embracing the fats that nature offers us. Include in your diet sources rich in monounsaturated fats, such as avocado, extra virgin olive oil, and olives. Seek out polyunsaturated fats, especially omega-3 found in fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel, as well as chia seeds, flax seeds, and nuts. These fats have a powerful anti-inflammatory effect, which is crucial for cardiovascular and brain health. A practical tip is to think about adding, rather than subtracting. Add a drizzle of olive oil to your salad, include a handful of nuts in your afternoon snack, or eat avocado for breakfast. At the same time, be a label reader and avoid products containing hydrogenated vegetable oil or partially hydrogenated, which are artificial trans fats. As always, balance is key. Discuss your dietary needs with a doctor or nutritionist to personalize a meal plan that protects your heart and promotes your overall health. Speaking of balance and numbers, there's another rigid rule that causes a lot of anxiety and urgently needs a review: the obsession with 8 hours of sleep per night. This pressure can, ironically, be the cause of many sleepless nights. The third rule to break is the inflexible belief that you need exactly 8 hours of sleep every night to be healthy. Insomnia and poor sleep quality are extremely common complaints after 50. Hormonal changes, increased bathroom frequency, sleep apnea, and chronic pain can fragment nighttime rest. On top of all this, we add the psychological pressure of hitting the magic number of 8 hours. When a person lies in bed and starts calculating, if I sleep now, I'll only get 6.5 hours, stress and anxiety skyrocket, releasing cortisol and adrenaline, the hormones that keep us awake. This creates a vicious cycle known as orthosomnia, an obsession with the pursuit of perfect sleep that ends up sabotaging it. Sleep science tells us that while the recommendation for adults is generally 7 to 9 hours, individual needs can vary significantly. More importantly, our sleep architecture naturally changes with age. It's normal to have less deep slow-wave sleep and more brief awakenings during the night. Fighting this natural change can be frustrating and counterproductive. Current research, including guidelines from institutions like the National Sleep Foundation, emphasizes that sleep quality and consistency are as, or more, important than the exact duration. 7 hours of deep, restorative sleep is far superior to 8 hours of light, interrupted sleep. The focus should shift from how many hours did I sleep, to how do I feel during the day. If you wake up feeling relatively rested and can function well throughout the day, you're likely getting enough sleep for you. If this content on breaking health myths is being useful, please leave a like so YouTube can recommend this video to more people who need to hear this message. Implementing a healthier approach to sleep involves focusing on habits, not numbers. The key is sleep hygiene. Create a relaxing bedtime ritual. Read a book in dim light. Take a warm bath. Listen to calm music, or meditate. Make your bedroom a sanctuary for sleep. Dark, quiet, and cool. Avoid screens on phones, tablets, and televisions at least an hour before bed, as blue light suppresses melatonin production, the sleep hormone. Try to maintain a regular sleep and wake schedule, even on weekends, to regulate your body clock. If you wake up in the middle of the night and fall back asleep within about 20 minutes. Get up, go to another room, and do something relaxing until you feel sleepy again. Staying in bed, tossing and turning, only increases the association of the bed with anxiety. And, of course, if insomnia is chronic and affecting your quality of life, it's essential to seek out a sleep specialist to investigate possible underlying causes, such as sleep apnea. This anxiety about numbers isn't limited to sleep hours. It manifests even more intimidatingly in the gym, where another outdated rule prevails, that people over 50 should stop lifting heavy weights. This is, perhaps, one of the most harmful pieces of advice someone in this age group can receive. We've reached the fourth rule that needs to be demolished. The idea that lifting heavy weights is dangerous and should be avoided after 50. The real silent health problem this advice exacerbates is sarcopenia, the progressive age-related loss of muscle mass and strength. This process begins around age 30 but accelerates dramatically after 50, leading to a slower metabolism, increased body fat, a higher risk of type 2 diabetes, and, most dangerously, a drastic loss of functional strength. This translates to difficulty carrying groceries, getting up from a chair, and, crucially, a much higher risk of falls and fractures, which can lead to loss of independence. The traditional recommendation to stick to light weights and high repetitions is good for muscular endurance. But studies published in sports medicine journals show it's far less effective at combating sarcopenia than strength training with heavier loads. The scientific mechanism is clear. To stimulate muscle growth, or hypertrophy, we need to challenge muscles beyond their current capacity. Heavier loads recruit type 2 muscle fibers, which are the most powerful and, unfortunately, the ones that atrophy most with age. Lifting a weight that is challenging for you in a range of 6 to 10 repetitions sends a powerful signal to the body to build and maintain lean muscle mass. In addition to stronger muscles, this type of training also strengthens bones, improves insulin sensitivity, and boosts resting metabolism. The fear, of course, is the risk of injury. So, how can someone over 50 lift heavy safely without risking their back or knees? The key to implementing strength training safely and effectively is understanding that heavy is a relative term. What is heavy for one person may be light for another. The goal isn't to compare yourself to the young people at the gym, but rather to find a load that is challenging for you, allowing you to complete the repetitions with perfect form. The number one priority is technique. And this is where investing in a few sessions with a qualified personal trainer or physical therapist becomes invaluable. Learning the correct form for fundamental exercises like the squat, which can be adapted to sitting and standing from a chair, the deadlift, which can be modified to picking up a light object from the floor, and the bench press is crucial for preventing injuries and maximizing results. Progression should be slow, consistent, and patient. Start with your body weight or very light weights to master the movement and gradually increase the load over weeks and months. Listen to your body. Delayed muscle soreness is normal, but sharp joint pain is a signal to stop and reevaluate your technique or load. And, as with all other tips, a prior medical evaluation is essential to ensure you don't have any conditions that contraindicate this type of exercise. We've strengthened our bones and muscles. Now, let's address the final frontier, the organ many believe is destined for inevitable decline: our brain. The fifth and final rule to break is the pessimistic notion that memory loss and cognitive decline are inevitable parts of aging. The science of neuroplasticity shows us a much more optimistic and powerful story.